What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? This is DeKesha Williams. You are here with us live for the recording of Profit Producers Podcast. Now, this is different, and I am super excited because we are actually going to do the live version, and you'll get access to the recorded version as well, as we are relaunching the Profit Producers Podcast. Now, I'm so excited as you guys get to see kind of the behind the scenes. My special guest today is Lori. Lori actually is a retired teacher turned human design mentor, right? And alignment coach. And that's one of my favorite words is alignment, right? I think that was one of my words. I don't know which year, but it was alignment, abundance, I don't know what this word is. That's terrible. I should have posted somewhere. Don't judge me. However, so we're going to be reviewing my actual human design chart live. I gave her my information. I told her, don't tell me anything. I want to find out when you guys find out. Don't tell me anything. So she followed her intuition and left a successful career in teaching after 26 years. Can you believe that? 26 years to build her own business. And so she helps people shed others' expectations and belief systems through a mix of practical application and intuitive guidance so that they can learn to follow their inner compass. So I love that. One of the things that I have been sharing as I do my coffee chats as we relaunch this year, 2023, has been a very difficult year for me. If you know, you don't know, I had to become 100% caretaker this year, and I'm finally getting to have my independency back. So that's going to be a podcast for another day, but just kind of wanted to give you, kind of the background on, how we're here and how this thing started. So I'm going to bring Lori to the stage. What's up, Lori? Are you ready?
I'm so ready. Thanks for having me, DeKesha.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I gave a little bit of a, the professional, introduction of you. But who is Lori really? Like, tell us real quick, who is Lori for real?
Yeah, right on. So yes, I am a retired teacher. And I've been building this business using human design to basically just help people get rid of all the junk that's getting in the way of who they really want to be and like who they know they are, but they tend to, we take on other people's expectations and we want to people please to make things easier. And a lot of times we end up in this place and you look in the mirror one day and you're like, who the heck am I even anymore? Right. So human design is just a tool to help people, shed some of those things. And it gives us like language that we can use to kind of boil down, to what the exact kind of component of us is. And then also think about like, how do we get to the high expression of that? How do we like become our best selves? So
but why human design? Like what is it about human design that really piqued your interest in the beginning?
Yeah, it's, I was always kind of drawn to astrology and like kind of, those a little more like spiritual or esoteric kind of things when I was young. And human design it's not like new because it's a collection of systems. So it's actually human design as it is has only been around since like the late 80s. So in those terms, it's new, but it's really like it incorporates things like astrology, the chakra systems, the Chinese I Ching, the Kabbalah, along with like genetics and quantum mechanics. So it's like a little bit of science and a little bit of, some of those more ancient wisdom kind of threads. And I think that it's just so fascinating to me because it has such depth And it's the only thing I've found that it doesn't take any guesswork. Like all you need to know is your birth information. You got to know your birth time, your birthplace, and your birthday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like, with some of those personality quizzes or whatever, you have
Right.
to like answer a question,
Yep.
and I was always like, well, sometimes I'm like this and sometimes I'm like this, and so I always questioned my results.
Right.
But human design is just, it's not that way. It's based on just one thing. And I think most people in my experience have been floored at how accurate it is. And then, ultimately it's just an experiment. So you take the information and you like play around with it and see how you can, create a better life for yourself based on what it has to teach you.
All right. So drum roll, y'all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's been a very long time since I had the human design chart. I think when we spoke originally, I had said yes, I've done it before. So I can't. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even remember. That's
Okay.
how long it's been. So I gave Lori my birthday, which is December the 12th, 19.
Mm.
uh,
Right.
so I have a birthday coming up, right? And it just so happened that I knew what time I was born. So I know I was born around 7:45 p.m. at night because my mother would only tell me happy birthday until 7:45. So I would go the whole day celebrating my birthday, and then my mom would call at 7:45 and be like, "Happy birthday." It's over. It's over, mom. But there's no trauma there.
Right.
All
Oh,
right.
man.
So
So
okay, so I
funny.
gave you my information. I asked her, I said, don't share with me because I want to hear it real time. And I'm excited to see how accurate it is.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Like I said, it's an experiment, so let's see how it resonates. So I'm gonna share
You
my
want to share your
screen
screen?
here. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. I see it.
You can see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So what
Look at
we're
that.
looking at here is, it's called a body graph,
Okay.
or a human design chart. And I'll just give you like a quick rundown of kind of the components of it. So all of these little shapes here are called centers, and those are what roughly correlates to the chakra system. So, like for example, the root here is, connected to the chakra system, and these are all just like kind of flavors of energy, different areas where different energy kind of flows within us.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got these connections here, these that look like channels.
Yes.
That's from the Tree of Life, or the Kabbalah. Um, and those are where, when you have a channel that's connecting to centers, it does something called defining those centers. So
Okay.
where you have color in the centers,
Mm-hmm.
that's defined, and where you don't, where it's white, that's called undefined, or in the case of your root, totally open, because you see the other components in here are these numbers, and these numbers are called gates.
Okay.
Um, and so you can have gates that are defined, but not necessarily the whole center as you do with your sacral. Or you can have absolutely zero gates, which means you have an open center. Or you can have centers that are defined through their connection to another center with a channel here.
So why are
So
those panels off to the side right there that you were just pointing to? Does that have any
these
relevance?
here, or these?
The one come down, that triangle right there. There's four numbers
Yep.
highlighted.
Yes. So these two gates.
Ah, okay. I see heart.
Yep. So this center, the reason it's calling it heart is this is your heart center.
Oh
And
boy.
then this is called your G center, your spleen or splenic center, your
Uh-huh.
sacral, your root, This is your emotional solar plexus. This
Okay.
is the throat, the ajna or mind, and the
Mm-hmm.
head.
All right, now look.
So,
Now my clients and my boyfriend might be watching, so don't tell too much about. No, I'm just playing.
okay, I will keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
I'm just they can be like, oh, I know her now. I know her buttons. And
Yeah, right?
I normally wear a chakra bracelet.
Oh, cool.
I
Yeah,
normally
yeah.
have it on. I normally have my chakra bracelet on. So as soon as you said that, I was like, oh man, of all
Yeah,
days, I don't really have it on. But yes, I love that.
that's great. That's great. Then you've got these like the gates in blue here where it says personality. That just means that those are your conscious gates.
Mm-hmm.
And then your design gates or anything in like this yellow color are your subconscious or like unconscious gates. So what
Okay.
tends to happen with these is you're a little bit more aware oftentimes of these things in your chart versus this side of your chart is oftentimes what people will recognize in you, but you don't,
Mm-hmm.
and the older you get, I think you also kind of relate to those things a little bit more and kind of integrate them a little bit more. So a few things that I think we usually start with when we're looking at a chart.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is your energy type. So you're one of five. There are manifestors, which is your type. There
Mm-hmm.
are generators. There are manifesting generators, which is the
Yep.
only hybrid type. There are projectors and reflectors. So the first thing to know is that you as a manifestor, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, of course. um, yeah, because manifestors have a really powerful energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're only about eight to maybe 10% of the population.
Wow.
So yeah. So if you've ever felt like kind of, you know, like alone or square peg round hole, or people don't get you,
Mm-hmm.
especially people don't get you, that is a very classic kind of component to being a manifester. Just
Wow.
because you've got this powerful energy, and
Mm-hmm.
this energy is all about initiating. It's all about like starting things, blazing new trails, just kind of creating things that have never been in existence before or are new ways of thinking. And so if you think about that as like kind of the main piece of being this energy type, it's like, yeah, people aren't going to get you because it's likely, the first time they're hearing it, or they've never heard it, phrased that way or explained
Right.
that way, right?
Right.
And so they're like, wait, what? But the biggest thing I have kind of to say for any manifester is you are not here to ask for permission. You are not here to
I
have
like that.
people get you. You
Mm-hmm.
just need to like follow what you know is right for you. And like the people who are meant to hear it are going to hear it. And the people who like will be drawn to
1000%.
you are there to like really learn from you. How
Yep.
how does that resonate?
I absolutely 1000% agree. One of the things, especially when it comes to a business perspective, one
Mhm.
of the things that I always say is I want people to have a different experience when they come into my space. Like, I don't
Mm.
want them to feel like it's any other coaching program or, I want it to be different. And I set it up that way to be different. And I'm always told by my clients, you really give us a lot for the money that we pay. Whereas with some of these other programs, they barely see the coaches, let alone are able to just jump on their calendar at any given time. Like
Right.
my tribe knows, especially like my mastermind members, if they are planning an event, like I had one of them yesterday, she just put in our Telegram. She received the second request for a customized course design. She closed her last one for $8,000 and she put it into right. This was her first. This is as much money as she's made in her business. And she's like, listen, I know I'm going to need a call for you to walk me through it. You're not going to necessarily get that in any other program. Mm-hmm. Oh, you can Voxer me. No, whatever. We're going to get on Zoom and we're going to walk through it. So I agree. And then one of the things that I don't do, I don't beg people to work with me. I don't. Like, yep. It's one of those things that either you do or you don't. And what God has for me is for me. The people that are supposed to be for me are for me. And I say it all the time. So if they tell me, they're like, oh, let me think about it. All right. Like, I was taught in sales that you follow up, but I'm going to follow up with you to a certain extent. But if you ghost me, then it won't meant to be.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna beg you. I'm just not gonna beg you. Yeah, that's just me. So I like everything you said. I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Yes. What you're saying is just music to my ears because it's so in alignment with how your energy is meant to work. You're not meant to follow up. You're meant to. So your energy type is like one component of your human design. Another piece that's directly related to your energy type is your strategy. And strategy is like, what are you here to do? Like, how do you kind of take action in the world? Mm-hmm. How are you meant to like interact? And mm-hmm. for you, it's informing, which can sound kind of weird. You're like, okay, I'm going to like just go around and tell people what I'm doing. Yes, that's exactly what you're going to do. So mm-hmm. for you, as a business owner, you're just telling people like, this is what I'm creating. And the people that it lands for, like, they're the ones who are going to flock to you, which I'll talk about in just a second. But it also, the informing piece is really important for manifestors because, again, going back to that idea of initiating and kind of blazing trails, you're mm-hmm. trying to like clear resistance with the informing piece. So it's like when you just tell people what you're up to, it's automatically going to clear resistance versus if you just start doing it and you haven't told anybody that you're going to do it, it can be like your aura that you've got around you it's closed and it's mm-hmm. repelling. It repels mm-hmm. people. And so it can be like jarring for people, especially if they don't have that information versus mm-hmm. when they have that information and then you do the thing, they're like, oh, even if they don't like necessarily resonate with it or it doesn't land with them, they're still, it's like you're kind of smoothing the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So basically what I'm hearing is, it puts me in a position where I'm going to do something or do a thing. Yep. And when I put it out there, some people it may resonate with, some it may not. But at the end of the day, it's almost like they still peeping.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean? And it's kind of nurturing, like, what she got going over there?
Yeah.
And then they get distracted, but then they see something and they go, oh, there she is again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I get from it. And that is absolutely how clients, especially how new clients find me.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of, so my content that I put out is very informative. It's not pitchy mm-hmm. at all. And then we'll run ads to it. And that's how we get brand new clients. Cause it's like, well, I saw your video, but again, they don't know anything about me. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I hear all the time, I absolutely love your energy.
Yeah.
I love your energy. Do you wake up like that? It's what it is. Yep.
Yeah. It's incredible. I definitely get that vibe from you, but like it's powerful when a manifestor enters the room, you can feel it. Mm-hmm. Other energy types definitely feel it. It's almost like your aura is like a really strong rubber ball.
Say it.
And you've got to, like, you walk in and it's like stuff bounces off, but the people who are meant for you are going to penetrate it, and they're going to like, and they will welcome in that like really strong energy.
So I'm going to tell you a really quick story, right?
Okay.
So yesterday I posted, this was kind of one of my first like vulnerable posts. I don't do it often. And so we built a community on another platform, on TikTok.
Yep.
Right. And so we've been doing it for like 9 months now.
Okay.
And there are some individuals who retracted or have removed themselves because of my demeanor. I was even told, and this is, thank you. This is not even, it's not even a shade, but to hear you say that, we've had people say that I don't feel like I qualify to be in the same room. You qualify based on just who you are, right? And others are, and it's like, well, you know, she's very demanding. Like, they call me the boss, okay? Like, that's the name that they gave me. I didn't give myself that name. Nope. They gave me the name the boss. Yes. And that's the energy that I give off, because at the end of the day, I'm very strategic. I'm very energetic. But I've also been a leader since I was 16 years old. My first job was an assistant manager.
Wow. Yeah.
16. So it's innate. It's in me. When I walk into the room, I command the room without opening my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. 100%. 100%.
I was like, how do I do that? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But apparently I do. I do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And it's no surprise.
One of my clients, I told you one of my clients going to be watching. She said she was demanding when she was training me.
Yeah.
But they all get ish done when they come into my program, because idea plus implementation equals income. I love it.
Yep. Yes. Hallelujah, man. Because the manifestor energy is that initiating energy, right? It's like literally getting it, you know, trailblazing, getting it started, like, let's light this up kind of thing. So it would be interesting to see what like the other people who live with you or who you spend time with, if they have this sacral defined, because the sacral energy is actually that energy that gets you across the finish line, you know? So manifestors are designed to, they often go through like periods of work with a rest cycle. And
yes.
Is that you?
Yes. And that's hard. And that's hard to do when you're self-employed.
Right.
That's really hard to do when you're So I did a live event last year. I did one this year too, but I did one last year in April. And it's almost like I took the rest of the year off until September. But somehow I miraculously came back. It was like I disappeared. Nothing tragic happened, at least not last year. This year, that was different. But it was like, where in the hell have I been? Like in La La Land. And I was coasting, but I was resting.
Yes. So important for any. So if you are not a generator or a manifesting generator type, not to say that they don't need rest, because absolutely. But for any non-sacral, we call them beings, which would be an undefined sacral like here, you've got to incorporate rest. It's like imperative. And so it's just about, you know, figuring out how you can design your life around that to really honor that need for rest, because that's going to allow you to, like, the other thing that happens for manifestors is your energy is designed sort of like, it's sort of like you have a pipeline to the divine where you just get these downloads or urges. So a manifestor urge is like you get a hit, so to speak, for something, and then you run it through your authority, which is your decision making. For you, that's emotional, and I'll talk about that in a second. And decide, like, is this something I want to act on? And without those rest periods, you're not going to necessarily have the energy to move forward on that. So
I
it
can see
really
that.
is important to kind of incorporate those somehow.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it here. You can't find me. I'm resting.
Yes,
I'm
so
resting.
important. So important. I wanted to tell you about two more things, the emotional piece, and then I also wanted to talk about, you've mentioned tribe and community a few times, and I want to talk about how that plays into your chart. Do we have time for that?
Yep.
Okay. So human design teaches that we have a decision maker, like, built into our bodies, basically. It's not about like thinking it through in your head and writing down all the logical stuff, but we actually have this mechanism in our bodies that helps us make decisions. And for you, it's your emotional solar plexus, which is about 50% of the population has this authority. And essentially what it means is you're actually not designed to make decisions like kind of in the heat of the moment, or like when you're, for example, if you hear about something that excites you, or maybe you get an urge, that would make more sense for a manifestor. You get an urge, you get a hit, an idea about something, and you get really excited about it. The idea of having the emotional authority is to just wait it out a little bit. So like sleep on it, depending on how much of a commitment it is, how much time it might take to see it through. You might sleep on it a few days and just sort of feel it out over those days to see, you kind of hit a high and a low. You're like really excited about it, and then maybe you come down and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I've got XYZ going on. And then maybe eventually it keeps coming back to you. It's in your awareness. You continue to get like signs that it's a good thing for you. And ultimately you decide to go ahead with it.
I thought it was just procrastination.
Oh, it's not. Yes.
I just thought it was procrastination.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you said that, because I think we're really conditioned by society to make decisions in the moment, right? It's like strong, powerful people know how to make a decision on their feet in the moment. And, half the world is not designed that way. And actually, even like a lot of the authorities are all about time and taking more time. There's only a select few that are meant to make a decision right in the moment. So
in our industry trains you to push people to make a decision in the moment.
100%. Yeah.
It's like, do it right now. You got to sign up today, right now. And so if you're saying that 50% of the population are not designed that way, we have to be able to understand that.
Absolutely.
So that's a great, you said it's a Sagittarius thing.
No, well, and
well, sort of, kind of, yeah, because it is based on your birthday.
Yes. Yeah.
So look at that.
Definitely. There are components, for sure. Like all of these planets in here, they're definitely part of the system.
I love it.
But yeah, so if you're a coach and you're listening, it's like, understanding this about your client and knowing, are they designed to know right in this moment on this sales call that they can make a decision, or are they emotional where they really need to like just let it percolate for a little bit, let it sit and see, and the end question for an emotional that you always want to ask yourself is just, does it feel right? So it's not something that you can like explain to people necessarily. Like, this is why I did it. It's okay to just say it feels right. Like, this is the way to go because it feels good to me. So, so that was one piece I wanted to share. And then the other piece I wanted to talk about was, your profile, which is,
because I was looking at anger and kitchens, but go ahead.
Okay, I can answer those too. So your profile is kind of like the personality that we tend to be known as, or like how people see us
Mhm.
oftentimes. And so you are a 4-1, and the 4 energy is what I wanted to talk about because you've already mentioned it a few times, and I think it's just such a beautiful example of where you're in alignment. You referred to your people as your tribe. You
Mhm.
said we built community, and
Absolutely.
4 lines are all about building community. They're all about having like a select group of people that's sort of your tribe, like you were saying. And business tends to come from your network. So
Absolutely.
building that network is super important. Does that resonate?
Oh, absolutely. That's what the whole post was yesterday. So when you get a chance, go read the whole post. And it
Okay.
talked about how from our industry, how I thought you were supposed to build a tribe and how we built a tribe in 9 months. No
Mhm.
intentions of building a tribe for business purposes. However, 80% of the people that's in that tribe are business owners.
Yeah. Love
So it
it.
wasn't it what I wasn't seeking out business people. We just attracted like-minded people on this platform. We had
Right.
our first, I'll let you read it, but we had our first meet and greet in Charlotte where 11 people who had never met before came together under one roof in an Airbnb in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And they were drawn to your ability to build that community. So that's incredible. Like, I would just encourage you to keep using that gift because you have it, and knowing that, referrals and people saying, "Hey, I saw DeKesha on TikTok," or, "You got to follow her here," or whatever. Like, it's likely that you'll continue to build your business through those avenues. And the other piece, the 1 component of your
Hmm.
chart,
Hmm.
is all about like diving deeply into things and like really knowing what you're talking about,
Oh
basically.
God, yes.
So 1
Absolutely.
lines are all about research. They're about building like a solid foundation to be like, okay, this is like, I'm going to learn all the things. It's not just like I'm going to read a book and consider myself an expert. It's like, I'm going to read all the books. I'm going to listen to all the podcasts. I'm going to take the courses. Does that
Don't
resonate with
talk
you?
about me. Look,
Yeah.
don't talk about me. So I have, hold on a second. Like, this is so funny. And you are absolutely right. Y'all, I would be embarrassed, but I'm not. I have 96 titles in my audiobook. That's
Yeah.
just the audio version. And I have
Yeah.
like 6 credits. And I've got books all over this room. They're all in the next room. I'm not making this up. I absolutely love. Today is training Thursday. Today is training Thursday. I'm literally sitting here with Alex Harmozy's book,
Yeah.
and it's open because that's what we do on Thursdays.
I love it.
I was just on live because I always want to continue to educate myself so that I can stay ahead of trends, so that I can help our tribe, our community, because there's a lot of things that people just don't do the research on. So, yeah,
Right.
you got me on that one. Busted.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good, good, good.
Busted.
All right. You asked about anger, right?
Yes.
So we can talk about that a little bit. So these 2 components in human design kind of go hand in hand, the signature and the not self theme. So essentially, it's like, how do you know if you're in alignment? How do you know if you're like kind of on the right track? And for a manifestor, each type has a different sort of feeling. For a manifestor, it's peace. So that feeling of peace, that kind of feeling of being settled, just sort of like a nice sigh of relief almost, is
Mm-hmm.
this feeling of like, okay, I'm like doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the opposite, so the kind of the harbinger of something's awry here. Something's like, you maybe maybe you didn't inform in the way that you needed to before you took action, or maybe you're trying to push a little bit more and you're not like you're not following that need for a rest cycle, for example. That for manifestors tends to lead to anger. How do those resonate?
Say it again.
How do those resonate? Those ideas.
So,
yeah.
True story. My peace was disrupted this year.
Right.
My peace was disrupted this year. And I became very angry. I went through the stages of grief. My daughter even said she watched me go through the stages of grief. So a lot of people don't know, I had to take care of my mother since December of 2022. She just went back home in August of 2023. So when I say 100% caretaker, from the time she woke up till the time we both went to sleep, I was cooking for her. I was helping her do every daily task, like basic daily tasks. She lost her sense of independency. I lost my sense of independency and who I am, right? And I became very, very angry during this time because it disrupted my peace. It didn't matter that it was my mother. I love my mother to death. I absolutely do. But when something disrupts your life unexpectedly and you don't know how to deal with it, it can cause anger. And got to the point, and I could have had more help, but I didn't. I'm gonna leave it like that. So that made me more angry.
Yeah.
I was even more upset, more angry. So yeah, so I can definitely see that, especially as I get older. Right. Yep. And that's one of the things that I am protecting as I get older. I'm protecting my peace.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah. And I do not regret it. I don't feel bad about it. If it's disrupting my peace.
Yeah. Yeah. So important. And I think the other thing that human design teaches about these sorts of, the emotions that we feel, signature and not self, is not so much to label them as like good or bad, but they're more like a road sign for you. It's like, oh, I'm feeling all this anger. Something is off. Where can I loosen the valve a little bit and let some pressure off? Where can I make some adjustments that are going to help bring me closer to alignment? Especially when you're feeling it so regularly, it's, and they just become like I said, road signs where you're on the path to living your life in alignment. And they're just like, oh, there I am. Even noticing the peace, like, oh, I'm feeling so peaceful right now. Where did I go right?
Right.
And like getting curious, so that you can repeat those things.
I love it. So what if someone wants to have their own human design chart done up?
Yeah. So I would say, come to my website. You can run your own chart just like this for free. And you get, some big information on the side here. And, I'll also send you some emails that kind of starts to just educate you a little bit about what does all this mean, it's a lot of information. It's a very, very multi-layered kind of system. I'm going to stop sharing here.
Okay.
So it's a very multi-layered system. So there's a ton to understand about it. And I have a one line too. So I love diving in deep, I'm like, yes, let's learn all the things. And then some people are like, oh my God, it's a fire hose, like slow down. So
I love it.
Yeah. So I would say, go to my website, lorilisai.com, download your chart. And you'll get some information via email about what it looks like, what it all means. And then you can book sessions with me. And I also do one-to-one, like private coaching to help people over time kind of learn how to integrate and get into alignment.
All right. So hopefully I think I spelled your name right.
Yeah, you did.
Go to
That's great.
LoriLisai.com for your own human design chart. So as we wrap up this episode, and again, thank you. This was so informative. I'm glad we actually did a live broadcast as well. So one of the things that I always do as we ended up, and then I want you to share one thing that they can do immediately in their business as we close out the 2023 fourth quarter. Okay. So what's the one thing most people don't know about you?
Ooh, one thing most people don't know about me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, oh gosh, that's a good question. Let's see. I guess a lot of people don't know that I would rather maybe instead of necessarily going out and like partying it up, I would rather like listen to a podcast or go for a run or like hang out with my animals, which is maybe an age thing, but I have a lot of enthusiasm. And so I think like people automatically think that I'm just like, all the time, but I really like to just, chill.
She's like, no, let me hang out, chill. I'm good. I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
The next question I always ask guests too is, when was your last webinar?
My last webinar, let's see. It was how to like access your dream life using human design.
Yes, I love it. You can't come on Profit Producers Podcast and talk to the webinar queen and not have a webinar. So note to self if you're about to be on the podcast. Okay.
That's right.
And what book are you reading right now?
I'm one of those who reads multiple books at a time. So I'm reading, I've got The Big Leap.
Yes, good one. Yes.
I'm listening to that on Audible. I'm rereading and doing Amanda Francis's Rich as Journal.
Okay.
And book, you got that one somewhere?
Yeah, I'm like, that name sounds familiar.
And then, let's see, Rachel from Pure Generators just released her modern guide to human design.
Okay.
I just got that in the mail yesterday, so nice. I started to like read through that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, again, I am so glad that we were able to connect. So glad that we had a chance to kind of do this real time. Yeah. If this is something that you would like to do, make sure that you go to her website, do your own chart. Get on the phone, have a conversation. You heard exactly how we walked through it. For me, she was spot on. And we just met via coffee chat and just vibed. And I was like, I love what you do. I love to bring you on the podcast, and even how can we even collaborate even further? So again, I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast. So we've got the link and we'll also have it in our show notes as well. Don't go anywhere because we're not done. Okay. All right. So for those of you all that watch today or tune in or are listening to the Profit Producers podcast, so excited that you joined us live and or listening. My name is DeKesha Williams, your webinar strategist. A couple of things that we always like to say, listen, look out for our upcoming summit. It's the Influencer Summit 2023. Make sure that you're on our database. Make sure that you're in our Profit Producers private Facebook group. I highly recommend reach out to Lori. She did an amazing job. If you have a podcast, you have a summit, I think she will be an absolute excellent asset to your platform. So please don't hesitate to reach out to her. I have her LinkedIn on here and we'll have it. Make sure we have it in the show notes. We've got our website in order to connect with her as well. As always, we love for you to take a peek at our quick training, createconsistentleads.com. For those of you all that want 3 ways to generate consistent cash flow and revenue in your business. My name is DeKesha Williams, your webinar strategist. Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. I'll see you guys next time.